Let's talk first of all about the NHL Stanley Cup. The series is tied 1-1, and they go to Florida Game 3. High drama. This game tonight, dictate will. Who is going to dictate their will? There's no doubt that Florida will check you into the parking lot and create turnovers and slow you down. There's no doubt that Edmonton will try to beat you down the ice, create 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s, because that's how they score their goals. Somebody's going to have to hit the other guy's skater to change the whole chemistry of this game. These goalies are going to be under siege again. I would not want to be Bobrovsky. I would not want to be Stuart Skinner. These guys have just got so much traffic in front of them, so much contact. I don't know how they find the ability to see the puck. Can the Panthers bully the Oilers, or the Oilers going to skate by them and say, you can't hit me, we're going to go in and score? Power plays are huge in this series. Edmonton's power play group, you just can't keep them off the score sheet. So it's been a great Stanley Cup playoff so far. Game 3 tonight. Dallas Stars, this was a shocker. They fired Peter DeBoer 48 hours after they got eliminated from the playoffs. A whole bunch of different reasons. But the scoreboard said this guy had done a great job. His record was 149 wins and only 68 losses and 29 ties in Dallas. Think about that. But they went to the Western Conference Finals 3 years in a row with a talent-laden roster. They had traded to stockpile goal scorers 3 straight years, out. Did not get to the Stanley Cup Finals. And I think the fitting climax as to why he had to leave was how he treated Jake Ottinger, his star goaltender, in the series against Edmonton when he pulled him in a critical game. And then he stood up at the press conference and said, yes, he has been a great goaltender in Dallas, but he was 1-6 against the Oilers in the last couple of years. We just couldn't stay that way after he gave up 2 goals in about 4 minutes in that final game. So Peter DeBoer, and this kind of shocked a lot of people around the NHL, considering his record was 149 and 68. Peter DeBoer out as coach of the Dallas Stars. And the other story, this is just late breaking within about an hour. The story is out of Toronto. It involves the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks have been rebuilding with all these kids, force-feeding all these kids. Have not been in the playoffs in 9 years. Got real close this year before they kind of ran out of gas. The Ducks not only have a lot of draft picks still in the cash register, the Ducks have got a lot of salary cap space. The report out of Toronto is the Ducks are prepared to offer Mitch Marner $14 million a year, which would be an all-time record, to sign a free agent contract with them. This guy's got 221 career goals. He's on the ice all the time. I don't know if he's a real sniper, but the guy is unbelievably productive. I don't know if he's worth $14 million per season, but that's the report out of Toronto, that the Leafs star might get that offer from the Ducks. Would he be a difference maker? Well, he'd score goals on a team that's had a tough time scoring goals. The team's got a lot of young skaters. So that's a fascinating story, because this is well beyond what the Ducks' current leadership under Pat Verbeek, the general manager, has done. So keep an eye on that story. So if you're into hockey, you want to talk about the NHL playoffs, the old Canada Network is open. You want to talk about right or wrong, the firing of DeBoer, or Mitch Marner to Anaheim? You got to be kidding me. John, go ahead, respond.
You know, I'm loving the playoffs. I mean, and I'm a hockey newbie. I'm learning a lot about this. I have a question for you. Is the announcers, not the play-by-play guy, by the way, is terrific.
Kenny Albert.
Yeah, he does a great job.
And Sean McDonough on ESPN.
Yeah, and I was just going to ask that because they have the TNT crew and an ESPN crew, right? But the people that are in the studio, the equivalent of Shaq and Charles Barkley and Eddie Johnson. So who are those guys? I know Messier is on one of those panels, but can you refresh my memory on who they are and what their history is?
Well, one of the guys is the former New York goaltender from Sweden. Very well spoken. Not a household name, but I think pretty good insight. Anson Carter played for a lot of teams, including the Oilers, including the Kings. He's an African-American. He's one of the first ones that's ever been on the panel as an African-American. I like him.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, I think so. And then the wild card is the guy who sits out there on the edge. What's his name? Weird guy. Outspoken guy. Peter, he was a tough guy in the NHL.
See, you're asking the wrong guy.
Okay.
I'm asking you who they are.
I got a brain lock on it.
Okay.
But he's really funny and he's really good and he's really off center. In fact, he does a TV commercial. It might be for one of the betting companies.
Mm-hmm.
And all the fans are outside of his house pounding on the windows. And somebody asks him, does that bother you? He says, no, I've spent a lot of time in the penalty box. People said that all the time. So anyhow, so the panels are good. Only problem I have with the panels there, much like the inside the NBA panels, they all start cracking inside jokes, which we can't identify with, and they talk over each other all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's on the director in the truck. That's on, you know, the host, the lead anchor, Ernie Johnson, or the lead anchor, Liam, on the NHL. You got to tell these guys, one guy talks at a time, because they start cracking inside jokes and talking over each other. Average Joe fan living in San Diego can't hear what they're saying. So there's quality control. Is that the correct word? There's got to be better quality control of the broadcast for all these guys. They have so many guys on the panels. So, but they're good.
Well, I'll say, you know, like on the NBA show, I think Ernie Johnson does a great job as a traffic cop, like a point guard, you know, kind of distributing the questions and to each of the guys. But for the NHL studio shows, I've always enjoyed them, but I didn't really know the history of each of the guys and who they were. And I'm sure some of them were big stars, maybe some were lesser stars, some were more glib than others. But building those relationships with the studio guys, like for me, when I first learned about the NFL, it was Brent Musburger, man. And you connect with those people, and that's how you learn about the sport.
Well, the guy on the edge is Peter Bissonnette.
That's the name. Okay.
Tough guy, fighter, but glib. And I think I really enjoy him.
Yeah.
But he's not everybody's acquired taste, but I think he's fun. And he's the one they do the commercial with the fans banging on the window. And he says, it's just like being in the penalty box.
Outstanding.
But you know, the broadcast crew, they've come up with something unique, and it's absolutely amazing that it works and nobody gets hurt doing it. Their color analysts are down on the ice in an area not behind plexiglass. They're sitting between the two benches. If you watch Kenny Albert and Ed Olchuk up in the booth, but their third guy down there is Brian Boucher. He is right down there where sticks come, pucks come, etc.
Outstanding.
And of course, the ESPN broadcast were led by Sean McDonough, who is a great broadcaster, and his color analyst is down there, Ray Ferraro, for a long time, a great guy. I've known him really for an extended period. Ray Ferraro does color analyst work down on the ice between the two benches. So they hear everything that's going on. They see the cheap shots and all that. I mean, it's just a real different approach to doing a broadcast. But I think the networks on TV have done a really good job.
Yeah, they have. I mean, remember, like, it was a number of years ago, they tried that gimmick on TV to have like a fluorescent puck that was only visible on TV. That was baloney. But I'm seriously, just generally speaking, I didn't grow up with hockey. But I'm digging this. I mean, it's a really entertaining sport, especially in the playoffs. And, you know, Edmonton, Florida, it's a hell of a series.
Yep. And I grew up with Hockey Night in Canada, so I was spoiled because that was pristine and that was really special. And
that's like going to church.
Exactly. Well, it is. Sacrilegious.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, that's all things hockey. Hockey Hotline is open for the old Canada Network. If you want to jump on board, you want to comment on this Mitch Marner story, I'd like to hear what you've got to say. Last topic on the table. We got hot headlines everywhere.
Well,